Al McCoy, the legendary sports broadcaster and the pioneer in the art of play-by-play, passed away this last weekend at the age of 91, and he has left us with an amazing legacy and plenty of memorable moments. But there is no better way to start his story than in the beginning. McCoy was born April 26th, 1933 in Williams, Iowa. Williams is a very rural farm town, and during McCoy's childhood, he went without electricity and running water. But despite the lack of what many would consider to be basic necessities, McCoy became infatuated with what little electricity he did have in his family's battery-powered radio. He would tune into sportscasts during what was considered to be the golden era of sports broadcasters. Some of his heroes include Burt Wilson, Don Dunphy, Bill Stern, Pat Flanagan, Jack Brickhouse, and Harry Carey. This love and passion for the art propelled him to get his first radio gig in 1951 when he was a freshman at Drake. He worked for KJFJ Radio, which has since merged with 95.9 FM to create the KQWC FM, a station that plays adult contemporary music. KQWC also covers Iowa State and Iowa sports, but I was unable to find whether that overlapped with McCoy's time there, so you'll have to let me know in the comment section if you know something that I don't. This job lines up with Al McCoy's passion for piano. More specifically, he was a jazz pianist and would travel with bands and groups and perform to make ends meet while he was in college. After he graduated from Drake, he traveled around the Phoenix and Denver area, but was unable to find a job and continued playing piano for a living. He then received a tip about a new squad moving to Phoenix, the Phoenix Giants, a Triple-A baseball team, and jumped on the opportunity to be able to broadcast with them. On top of that, he hosted a nighttime radio show with Cool FM. Even in the beginning, he received high praise from some of the legends of the industry, including Horace Stoneham, the radio broadcaster for the San Francisco Giants, claiming that he would be the next voice of the Giants. But that never came to pass, and after the Phoenix Giants moved to Tacoma, McCoy spent some time calling play-by-play for Arizona State's football and basketball teams. In 1972, Al McCoy would begin the career that would become his magnum opus, the broadcaster for the Phoenix Suns. He hosted with Rod Hundley, who was a former number 1 overall pick and would make 2 All-Star appearances. Their first ever broadcast was a preseason game against the ABA Utah Stars. I wish I could find a broadcast or a record of this broadcast, but I wasn't able to, and that might be because the broadcast in the early days was a total mess. McCoy handled production of the radio and TV versions of the broadcast simultaneously and would hire a new television crew in each city while handling the audio engineering of the radio broadcast himself. McCoy claimed that on a few occasions when the setup had gone horribly wrong, he would broadcast the game through a telephone. This was a humble beginning for a sport that was on the rise, but not pulling in the eyes that Bird or Magic would eventually bring to the game. The 1970s is regarded as one of the low points in NBA history. They had the competition of what was regarded as the flashier league in the ABA. They also had rampant drug problems and racial tensions at the time. Both contributed to what was a decade of a struggling league. But Al McCoy was building something special in Phoenix. What bode well for McCoy was that the Suns had some competitive seasons in those early years, which thrust McCoy in front of a large audience. What many believe was McCoy's best call came in the 1976 Phoenix Suns NBA Finals run. Game 5 of the 1976 NBA Finals, when John Havlicek hits a banker to win the game for Boston, and the Boston fans begin to storm the court, but the game is not over, and Phoenix's Gar Hurd is able to tie the game, send it to overtime, and it would go on for 3 overtimes before Boston eventually won the matchup.
1 second remaining in the second overtime. Here's Perry to Gar Hurd. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good! It counts! Gar Hurd ties it. We'll go to the third overtime. I gotta take a breather. I want to tell you something. Somebody up there is on our side.
To put into perspective this difference between the 70s NBA and current day, it took until third overtime for both teams to hit the 120 mark, while last year's Indiana Pacers, the best offensive team of all time, scored 123.3 points per game. In 1979, when the NBA implemented a three-point line, McCoy viewed it as the NBA's version of a home run. Once again, crazy how differently the NBA is played today than then, but McCoy felt he needed to have a call that could live up to the hype of a three-point make. He then coined the term Shazam, which he frequently used for the rest of his career. He went on to simulcast radio and broadcast television of the games until 2003, when Eddie Johnson left as McCoy's color commentator and became the lead of the Phoenix Suns' separate television broadcast. At this point in McCoy's career, he began to become nationally recognized. He was inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame in 2007. He was the 17th recipient of the Kurt Gowdy Media Award. Then Rick Welts and Robert Sarver, in one of the few acceptable moments of Sarver's son's tenure, created the Al McCoy Media Center. Over 10 years later, October 26, 2016, McCoy broke Chick Hearn's record as the longest tenured broadcaster in NBA history, and he was inducted in the Phoenix Suns Ring of Honor. May 11th, 2023 would be his final game. 51 years of legacy left behind and countless memories that we will never forget. I'm going to play his final call, and I will let it play out as it is our last glimpse into the legend that is Al McCoy.
And the final seconds will tick away, and Denver will come away with a huge victory to eliminate the Suns in the Western Conference semifinals. The final score, Denver 125, the Suns 100. Don't go away. We'll be back right after these messages. I want to take a minute here before we get into the post-game show. And Tim, you touched on it a moment ago, but I think our listeners know that this is my final broadcast for the Phoenix Suns after 51 amazing years. And I just want to say a couple of things. Of course, turning to my right, John Bloom, I certainly thank him for all of his work and help these last few years, and wish him only more in his professional career as it moves on. And Tim, I said it a moment ago, you know, big guy, what I think of you. You're absolutely the best. And to be with you for 21 years alongside has certainly been a high point, something I will never forget and always remember. I want to say also to Walt Ellis. Walt, you've been with me for so many years as the technical director. We've worked on so many projects. I want to thank you for all of the things that you have been able to be responsible for that have made it easier for me to work.
Thank you, Al. It's been 17 great years.
Yes, it has been. And I want to say something special to a special group of people. Through the years, I've become friends with so many sightless people. And you can't understand what radio and sports radio broadcasting means to these folks. And I've gotten to know so many sightless people that depend on our radio broadcasts. And I've known people that are in hospitals and in veterans hospitals and shut-ins. And I just want to thank all of those folks that depend on radio for letting me be a part of their lives. And to all the rest of you, before we get in, and we're going to wrap this up on our post-game show, I just want to say thank you for 51 wonderful years and allowing me to bring the story of the Suns in the NBA to you. It's been a great ride. Okay, we'll be back with some post-game coverage. Don't go away. The Suns lose this one. They're eliminated this year. Final score was 125-100 Denver, and we wish the Nuggets the best. Back with the post-game after these messages. So again, we wish Denver, their coach Mike Malone, and all the people in the Mile High City to move ahead. Wish them the best as the playoffs continue. As far as that pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.
We all have our fond memories of Al McCoy, listening to his broadcasts on my way home from work, or in the 2021 finals run when they had him announce the second quarter of Game 3 live in Chase Stadium at the watch party. Al McCoy's greatness was not lost on those in the industry, with the highly influential Mike Breen saying he is one of my heroes, and Steve Albert comparing him to Vin Scully and Ernie Harwell. He is undoubtedly a part of Phoenix Suns history and NBA history. He remained faithful to the Suns no matter the controversy or during the down years post Steve Nash. He was the voice of the Phoenix Suns, and no one will be able to capture the game the same as him. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Suns content has been low the last month or so, but I am going to get back to making some videos here soon as the offseason starts to ramp up. I apologize, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be coming out with a compilation of Al McCoy's best calls. That'll be coming out probably tomorrow, so if you're watching this video today, subscribe and you can check out that video tomorrow. And if you're watching this video any other day, it should be linked right in the middle of the screen. So thank you so much for watching.